Hi, Bladewolf here. Before I'm going to start this video, just like to let you know, I'm going to try something a little bit different as I try to do everything more from memory, just so I can sound something a lot less scripted to make me sound a bit more consistent. I hope everything's okay at your end. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. Hello everyone. My name is Bladewolf Blogs, and I'm here to talk about motorsports and sim racing from the furry side of things. Today we're going to be talking about the good news that's been flying around. In fact, it is official. Formula 1 will be restarting at the beginning of July. And we have so far got on the schedule, we have got 8 races that's been initially put down. But there will be more announced hopefully later by the FIA during the year. The first 2 races that's going to be kick-off in consecutive weekends will be in Austria. The first being between the 3rd and the 5th of July. The second will be between the 10th and the 12th. This is followed by a week later that, but in fact it will be in Hungary. Then we have 2 double headers in Silverstone in the UK at the end of July and beginning of August. And then of course we got Spain, Belgium and Italy in that particular order. However, even though we got 2 races in both Austria and Great Britain, because of the Concord Agreement, there's a contractual thing that states that they cannot have the same names. So you kind of have 2 Austria Grand Prix and 2 Britain Grand Prix. So what they did was, just by a clever name change, they called the second Austria race to be the Steiermark Grand Prix, while for the UK, for the British Grand Prix, it'll be known as the 70th Anniversary Grand Prix, because it has been 70 years since Formula 1 has started, of course, and because the race has kicked off in Silverstone in the UK for the very first F1 World Championship, it's better fitting to pretty much call that second race a 70th Anniversary Grand Prix. Since we'll be doing the double headers on this Grand Prix for this year, it'd be nice to see if we can do something a little bit different to change up the order, like for example probably using reverse grid. However, despite this has been pitched by the FIA and various other teams, unfortunately Mercedes are less keen, and because any rule major changes requires all unanimous agreements from the teams, sadly this is not going ahead, which is a great shame, because I mean it'll be nice that's in the second race, it being in the same venue, that could probably mix up the grid a little bit. Yes, I know it's not a purity of sport, but if you look at it from the other way, once you got a top team that has a perfect setup for a race, they're likely to dominate in the second race. But one other suggestion that might happen coming from Pirelli is that what they might do for the second race is to mix up the tyre compounds a little bit to see if that will affect the race, which is something that might be interesting, because it's nice to see if you put something like a little bit harder tyre or softer tyre, just to see how that will affect the race, whether it means changing the pit strategies. For example, if you put a softer tyre in Silverstone, you probably end up having more stops possibly, and it might change from like a 2-stop to a 3-stop, or they might possibly, even the worst case, even though it's unlikely now, a 4-stop. And that depends on how well the team will push hard on the tyres, how well they set up. We'll just have to wait and see what the FIA comes up with when the races come into fruition. While the races are going on, FIA has brought in various safety measures in order to keep everyone safe. They brought in what's known as the 5-step process. Number 1 being the ongoing testing, where everyone's going to get regularly tested, probably by as much twice a day during the race events to make sure they don't carry the virus. Second of all, it will be a closed event. Everything will be raced behind closed doors. Well, that's for obvious reasons, because we don't want to bring large crowds and gathering at this event while everything's been going off. Minimal personnel, well, that's basically only essential workers for people who are working on cars, as well as people who are pit crew, where they're going to try and bring the most minimum amount possible in order to keep the team functioning during the races. Also, it'll be isolated travel. This will be Well, what this means is it means the teams will be travelling together pretty much in their own little bubble, so they don't intermingle as much when they go travelling from places to places. And finally, number 5 will be social distancing. That'll be both pre and post race events, and it'll be interesting because obviously when you go on a podium you're normally quite close together. We're not even sure if they are going to have podium events or not, but it'll be interesting what they come up with. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video, that everything is all nice and happy and good news for a change. See you soon, and howl you later. Ow!